I think you want to start something and you want it to be like big and great.
Bam.
Yes, like look at this. We wanted it to be big. We wanted multiple cameras. We started watching other podcasts. We want the camera in your face. We want to be able to make shorts and reels off of it. And yeah, we have one camera now. It's just much easier. And we do have 4 microphones, but it took a lot of trial and error.
Hey, welcome to the Voices on the Wind podcast. I am Toby Lyles and my esteemed son,
Maverick Lyles.
We have Rhea and Lindee of Beyond the Front Door podcast with us today. This is the first podcast on a podcast.
Yeah, yep, that's true.
And what's fun about, many things is fun about them, but one is they're just so fun to talk to and really good on a microphone. So that's kind of nice. We have talent in our studio. What I like about their podcast is they do a lot of what we're talking about here. They had this idea of starting a podcast. It like tapped them on the shoulder, the voice in the wind, and it said, hey, it's time to start a podcast.
Yeah.
And we get to hear that story of how they heard that and then started and made something real out of that today.
Yeah.
Before we get to that, though,
we have some pretty exciting ads for you guys today. We have our sponsor, Art at the Hinds, which then if you haven't checked out their art, it's pretty awesome. Denise Patton, she does it, and it's not just her. It's like her and others. And then some crazy. When we were there, saw a lot of really cool art. So it's at Cheyenne at Art at the Hinds. On Facebook, and then we also have our newsletter, which is also pretty exciting. A lot of new crazy stories. We have a lot of good ones. And then I'm still in love with the battery braces one. But there's
you haven't read the battery braces one.
You have to read the battery braces.
You need to subscribe to get stories like that.
Yep. You'll get that and a lot of also just really deep and also ridiculous stories. So if you haven't done that, it's at votw.substack.com. Definitely worth checking out for sure.
So we have Rhea and Lindee today on the podcast, and among the things that I enjoyed, like I said, they were talented, they were fun, and they started a podcast. So we kind of talk about how they got into real estate. They're both realtors, and how they connected, how they both had an idea. What was fun was that Lindee had tried to start the podcast, and then something happened and she wasn't able to finish or follow through. And then they started again. So there's a lot of mystery there that is forthcoming in the podcast. So here we go with Rhea and Lindee. Tell me your story.
Okay.
How'd you get started in real estate?
Okay. So I'm Rhea Parsons. I am a realtor here at Peak Properties, working on my 5th year as a realtor. I am from Gillette, and that's important because Deb and Corey, the brokers here at Peak Properties, are also from Gillette. And so I had worked for Deb, feels like a couple lifetimes ago. She was her and one other gal, Stacy, were the directors of a CASA program visitation center. And so I went to work for them, very long story short. Eventually took over Deb's job as executive director because she moved down here to do real estate with Corey. And I took over her position there. And then after my kids were graduated from high school and through college, then my husband and I decided we wanted to change and move down here to Cheyenne. And that is my story behind becoming a realtor. She had started talking to me about it in probably 2013.
Interesting. So you were a realtor in Gillette. Why did you start in realty?
I wasn't a realtor in Gillette. I was the director of a nonprofit organization there. And then I went on to do so I've been an independent contractor for a long time. I went on to do independent contract work for the Wyoming Association of Sheriffs and Chiefs of Police and did that for about 10 years. And
what does that look like?
So my role in it was substance abuse prevention and mental health.
Okay.
So it was a lot of educating on the harms of alcohol and drugs, as well as work on policy and lobbying.
So that feels to me like a big shift from
From that to real estate?
Yeah. Well, and not just a career shift, but this is like a heart shift.
Sure. So for me, I'm a pretty hard worker. And I wanted to kind of shift my hard work into, instead of a nonprofit work, into for-profit work, but still helping people. And I think if you talk to any realtor, they're going to tell you that they are engaging in mental health activities as they are helping people buy and sell homes. It's very emotional for just about everybody, I think, because of the amount of money and memories that go into homes. And so I would say that for me, I still get to help people, but I'm just doing it in a different way. And I dare say not as heavy of work. Like for sure, real estate is a really big deal, but it's not the same as working with families in crisis. So, yeah. It's been a very easy shift for me because part of my work was mediating between divorcing parents. And so conflict and mediating between conflict is something I'm very comfortable with, which isn't that far of a departure from negotiating real estate deals either. So
that's fascinating. So you go from mediating divorce deals to real estate.
Mediating real estate deals. Yeah.
Very similar.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, Lindee, can we go all the way back?
Yeah, we can go all the way back.
What did you do?
12
Can we talk
years.
about before real estate?
Yeah. So I have been in real estate for 12 years.
Okay.
But prior to that, Rhea touched on it a little bit. My parents, my mom and my stepdad opened Peak Properties here in 2006. My sister also got her license at that time. And apparently my mom was like recruiting everyone.
This is great.
Yeah.
Including me. She was doing the same thing. But I went to college for a long time.
Okay.
I have a doctorate in adult and post-secondary education. And so my goal was to teach at a university or be a dean or something like that. That was what I wanted to do.
That's not real estate.
No, it's not. And so I actually worked, and I didn't even do that. I did teach at LCCC, but I worked for the state of Wyoming for 7 years, I think it was, before I got into real estate. I worked for the state office, so none of like the local, I worked on the overarching like state, the whole state.
Wow.
And then my mom just kept saying, get a real estate license, get a real estate license. And I was like, I went to college for a really long time to just go sell real estate. And then I got pregnant with my son and I called my mom and I said, I think I want to do real estate. And I think I went into real estate for reasons a lot of people do. Flexibility, make your own, you get to make your own schedule. You get to spend time with your family. You can prioritize things. And then I think the reality of that is not what happens. It's a lot. I mean, you do get to make your schedule, but you work 24/7. I mean, if you want to do well at this, you have to be on call all the time. You have to be there for people. And depending on the market you're in, I mean, sometimes immediately if a house comes on and it's one they want to see. So I think what I wanted to do was be able to take my child with me if I had to, or, share. My sisters and I all sell real estate now. So we've all slowly come into real estate, which I think we wanted to raise our kids and make our own schedules and be kind of flexible with that. And it's definitely given us that opportunity. But we have to work together because, you work 24/7 in real estate. So
I understand you did it. You made a transition for freedom and, just the flexibility. And if you have a kid, that was one of my big reasons for going into entrepreneurship, because we had children and I was working nonstop and not at home. But you invested so much of your life into a doctorate, and I'm sure you had that sounds like a great job. Yeah. Was stay very secure, which is also important for kids.
Yeah, it's really hard to leave stuff like that. Yeah, to go, okay, am I just giving this up? And I think I kept telling myself, well, I can always go back to this someday. I didn't realize that I would like love real estate as much as I do. I was around it a lot already before that because my stepdad, my mom, my sister, friends that worked here, real estate was like our life anyways. So I feel like I was already had, somewhat of an idea of what it would be like, but.
Okay. And so then you both connected here?
Rhea and I actually knew each other before because we're both from Gillette. Okay. So I graduated high school there and I left after high school. But Rhea worked for my mom and then Rhea took over for my mom at Casa. Okay. And so then when Rhea came down here to sell real estate, I had tried to do a podcast in my car.
Oh, nice.
I mean, I didn't try real hard, but that was my idea. Like, it's been several years, but I was like, I'm going to we're in our cars all the time. That's all we do is drive from property to property to appointment to appointment. And so I was like, I should do it in the car because, we're told market yourself, video's the best, get on video, people need to see your face. So I was like, okay, I want to pick people up in my car and like interview them and then take them back and make them like short little videos. And just kind of like talk about, and I wanted them to be real estate related because I was like, I could pick up the title company lady. She could tell us about what the title company does and I take her back. Anyways, if anyone's tried to start a podcast, you realize it is a lot of work and it's a lot of moving parts. Like we've talked, sound, video, like you want to put a product out there that's good. And I'm not really a tech person. I can learn things and I've taught myself some things, but it's a lot. So it didn't work out. And then Rhea came and got her license. And one day my mom said, Rhea wants to start a podcast.
So I had attended a Tom Ferry conference in Dallas, and they were just talking about being innovative and thinking outside of the box. And because I was newer to Cheyenne, I was really trying to think of how can I get the most amount of people to get to know me. Aside from all the networking, everything that we do, I didn't grow up in Cheyenne, and so I didn't know everybody. So I thought the podcast would be a great way for people to get to know me and who I'm about. So like we were joking earlier, even people that we don't know that listen to the podcast, they're getting to know us, and that's the ultimate goal, right? To know us and our personalities and to trust us because we're good people. So,
so Rhea said, she wanted to start a podcast. My mom said, let's go to lunch. We went to the office. We had lunch, and I was like, yes, please. I want to do this. But what we learned is we do need two people. I think if you're starting this on your own, it's a lot to take on if you...
Unless you're just a freelancer that has somebody paying all your bills and you just devote all your time to it. Yes. You're not making money off of it to get started, and we're still not. But yeah, we definitely need two of us. And our roles kind of evolved pretty naturally when we got going. The setting up of this studio took us 2 or 3 months. And we were buying equipment and then taking it back. And we tried a bunch of different things. And then we thought we were going to have it completely soundproof. And then we realized we didn't really need to have it completely soundproof. And but it took us a little while.
We put up, funny story, we put up all the sound things everywhere in here.
Yeah.
And we came in one day and they were all laying on the ground. They all fell off the wall. They wouldn't even stick. And we were just like, this. It felt like it was like a challenge after challenge.
It was.
Yes.
Yeah. So even the microphones or the stands that held the microphones, we initially started off with a stand that was like in the middle and the camera, but then we couldn't see each other. So then we're like, okay, that's not going to work. And really the ones that sit in front of us have turned out to be the best, other than like Lindee said, if we get people to stay near the microphone and not lean back, that really is what can create. Then the other microphones start to pick it up, their voice, and there's just some issues with that. But anyway, and of course there's things we would love to be doing differently. But
I think
we're
that's
busy.
The hard part. I think you want to start something and you want it to be like big and great.
Bam.
Yes, like look at this, and that's what we wanted because the studio that we're in is in our office. It's in the basement, and my parents, Corey and Deb, they owned the building, and so we had a renter down here. It's just a studio apartment, and he had moved out right at the same time that Rhea had brought up the podcast. So then we started brainstorming, like, do we do a pop-up podcast where you have to set up the equipment? Where will we do it? And my mom said, the basement apartment is open if you want to do the podcast here. And so that's what we did. But yeah, we wanted it to be big. We wanted multiple cameras. We started watching other podcasts. We want the camera in your face. We want to be able to make shorts and reels off of it. And yeah, we have one camera now. It's just much easier. And we do have 4 microphones, but it took a lot of trial and error.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll probably need to invest at some point, have somebody come, like whatever it's going to take us to the next level in terms of technology. But for right now, what we have is working. And as long as people can hear us talking, that's really the most important thing right now.
You're doing great. And then once you put it out into the world, was it as big of a bang as you hoped for?
I mean, it's a slow burn. Having a podcast, I would say, is a slow burn.
We felt like this whole time that starting a podcast is like a long game, and we feel like we have a good amount of people that are following us and viewing ours. But we wondered if maybe in the beginning, people were waiting to see if we were actually if this was going to,
out.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, okay, did they just make a video with the sheriff and now that's it? Or are they going to keep going?
We started off with this being about real estate transactions as well as any careers associated with real estate. And then, of course, what we call jump stories, where people make the leap to do something different with their lives, which sounds like similar to you. But then last summer, we added community stories as well. And this, I mean, having the broad spectrum of all 4 topics. And we actually added, we had a young man in high school approach us wanting to do an unpopular opinion episode. So we actually did that too. But the 4 sort of themes, if you will, has helped us create content, invited people to be on the podcast. The first year was just a huge blessing. We got a really great outpouring of support, and it was very evident by we did like a 1-year anniversary party, and I think we were blown away by the number of people that came to support us. Well over 100 people. We had a little get together at Westby's, and well over 100 people. And you think about, by that point we had just about 100 episodes. And so we were thinking, even if our friends and family showed up, we'd be happy. And that's really what we were counting on. And so many more came, which was wonderful. So,
which then makes you feel like, okay, well, what we're doing is
good.
Yeah. I mean, because we feel like it is. We've loved sharing everyone's stories. We've learned about our community even more. And I think we've created this like library of episodes that people can go to learn about anything Cheyenne. I mean, you have a question about what to do here, where to find anything. We've probably interviewed somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like on Cheyenne Community Connections, if somebody's like, I'm looking for this, and we can get in the comments and share our video and they can sit and listen to it at their own leisure if they want to, and it will answer their question. So that's a lot of fun too. I like being able to do that. Because I just think that sometimes the fear of the unknown is what keeps you from reaching out, to ask for help. So the goal with the podcast is to remove the unknown, that you get to hear people's, backstory. Everybody, what's that saying? We all have to put our legs in our pants, one leg at a time, whatever it is. Everybody, we all have our things. And what's very interesting, the process through which people have to go through to grow is the same, whether you are homeless and trying to get stable, all the way to being a successful business person trying to reach the next level. It takes a lot of the same mindset, the same, it's just choose your heart. Where's your fight at? What is it, right? So if you listen to any of the like the Comia shelter, right, or needs, or the safe house, you listen to them talk about sort of the perseverance that it takes for people to pull themselves out of homelessness. It's not all that different than it is from somebody trying to make a jump from a previous life to a new life. And I think that's what we're trying to accomplish with this, is not only tell everybody's story, but kind of normalize the struggle. Right?
That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
What are one of the, I don't know, do you have a story that exemplifies that? Like an interview that you both have heard, maybe did, that just feels like.
Well, the Westby's is the best example.
It really is we use it all the time. I would say Markham's is too with CrossFit. So the Westby's, Darren is the director at the Department of Transportation, and Misha is a judge over in Albany County. And they had, of course, built successful careers and had their dream house and decided they wanted to start a business and sold their dream house, couch surfed with friends and family to make this dream come true. And then eventually built themselves an apartment above Westby's or within Westby's or whatever. And I think it could be easy to think, well, they have these really successful careers, so that really maybe wasn't a struggle. But when you sit and listen to their story and you hear the sacrifice and the struggle that it took for them to get that thing off the ground. I mean, they were both working all day and then coming to the building at night and working hours and hours and hours every single day for a couple of years, right? And you think about that takes grit and perseverance and to give up. I think if you have to sell your house and be homeless, that feels like a step backwards, even if it isn't, right? Like you are now couch surfing and trying to make a dream come true. And the funnest part of their story is that when they sold their house, they drove to Las Vegas and built out their business plan during that drive.
Wow.
Yeah, it's so awesome. I just am like, how fun. I mean, that's just really amazing, I think. So would you have anything else you'd want to add to that one? Or maybe talk about Markham's? His is pretty good.
Yeah,
too.
and then we had Markham King. He and Christy own CrossFit Cheyenne and Lumen Athletics. And they had a CrossFit gym, but they were renting. And I think that's just a whole nother aspect of the story. People start businesses and then they think, well, I don't want to rent. I want to own my building. I want to own
Start
this.
big.
Just like we said with the podcast, you want it to be like this amazing thing like right away. And it's not. And so their story was that they slowly moved up in rentals and then they bought a commercial property from me in 2020, which is where they are now, right next to Blacktooth downtown. And it's just like the story of them and that crazy time of the pandemic when people like
they
Rhea
bought that building right before.
They bought the building.
Oh, gosh.
Literally, pandemic happened and they were supposed to close like a week later. And they were like, everyone was like, should we do this? What are we doing? And then they did, and they had to remodel it. And it's just like, just hearing people's stories and then knowing what you have to do to make things happen.
I say, especially when we hear these stories, I always say that it's almost like when you take the leap to change your life, the universe conspires to see if you're serious about it. So there's all these obstacles that occur when you first try, when you first make the jump, make the leap, problems, and were you questioning whether you're doing the right thing or whatever. But when you listen to all the stories of everybody that's come on, they just keep going. That really is the key, is even if it feels impossible and like there's not a way, just keep putting one foot in front of the other and it'll happen how it's supposed to happen. So I think that's what we've heard from just about everybody that has a jump story on here.
Wow, that's really good.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
Yeah, just keep.
That's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing. Yeah. We maybe have slowed it a little now. Yes.
That was really fun. I enjoyed being there. Like when we were at their set, it's like, or set, I guess. They're little, yeah. And they have a nut like it's very nice. I mean, it was kind of hard to get into, but it was very nice. And
yeah, we won't talk about the stairs going down.
No,
with the road cases.
No, it's just because of us. Then
my back will be telling the story for a while.
Yes. No, yeah. I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed, yeah, like how they were like were realtors, but then became podcast. They're like they both thought of making a podcast individually, and then that kind of came together, and they're like, hey, let's make something. And the change and like they made and like the cool, they had a lot of cool episodes and really dig into more of that. Like how did you get it done? Like what can people take? Yeah, just very practical. not just an interview. So I really appreciated that a lot.
Yeah, if you're thinking about starting a podcast, there's this fun story. They talk about how hard it can be too, and how they've had to make adjustments. One of the, and which is actually really interesting because that's my business, is helping people start podcasts. So kind of fun to have that on a little more close to my heart. There's also a theme here that we've seen in even some interviews that are yet to come. Is that to gain attention in a wider audience, whether it be among in a media world or in real estate. One of the strategies is this: start a podcast, start your own thing, start a gig, and this is like a little secret. So instead of the other routes that what am I saying? I'm just saying find a way to make yourself shine. What can you do by yourself that gains a little bit of attention and notoriety, so people get to know, like, and trust you, they love you, and then that leads to other opportunities. Furthermore, one of the problems as I've worked with podcasters is that they generally start a podcast, and the hard part is once they get famous, sticking with the podcast, because that's when all the opportunities come. So anyway, that is one of the parts of hearing that voice that comes in your head and then following through. And then what do you do after it's working? And you're kicking butt. So that is the goal of this podcast, however, to help you start those ideas. So we will be doing that on the next one. Until then, happy sailing.